Hi there. Welcome to Life Between Coasts, the podcast where we dive into our personal journeys connected through synchronicity. So grab your coffee, light a candle, and let's begin. I'm your host, Leah, and we're glad you're here. Today, we're sitting down with Stephanie. Stephanie, welcome. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Excellent. And we're happy to learn all about you. So tell me, where do you want to begin?
Well, I'm like a midwife or midlife woman who a few years ago decided that, like, because I have two boys, they're 9 and 11 now, and I had the corporate career, all the things, and just that pull. It's like it's time to do something different, to really start tuning back into what I wanted to do. Uh, and that can feel so selfish sometimes, to when you have young children, people at work who need you and all of that. So it's really like over the past several years of like reclaiming more of me, noticing stories that I'd been living by, that consciously or unconsciously, that were serving me or not. Like none were like a clear cut good or bad, but it was definitely like just becoming aware of kind of like all the invisible threads of things that were happening, and where my energy was getting pulled and where I felt more called to be, like to use my energy. And so a few years ago, that led me to like leaving my corporate job after 15 years, and just feeling like, okay, I want to be more present with my kids. We do a hybrid homeschool, so like I want to be there, like be more involved in that.
Right.
And then just even since then, like how so much of that hasn't even worked out like the way I thought. So
The best laid plans, right?
yes, like, so just now with more perspectives, being like, "Oh, like there are things I wish I knew back then," while also acknowledging I probably wouldn't have listened, because like you think
Right.
you're working in your own bubble of awareness. But I think it's important to share our stories and talk about these things, so that like to know like you're not alone in these feelings, and that you can really trust yourself to help you navigate through them. I have a much more like instinctual knowing that comes like in a little bit more like whispers and quiet nudges. Other people really get like those gut checks, or uh, just things that are much stronger in that like yes, no feeling.
Right.
So just learning like, oh, like that's how my intuition talks to me. That's how I navigate life.
Yes, and that goes with the synchronicity side with me. Just the same. That's what I use that as a confirmation.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily I'm certain that there's probably the nudges that go with it, but it's that confirmation. It's like something happens just after whatever occurred. You're like, okay, I did the right decision, or I made the right decision, or I chose properly in that instance.
Yeah. And like, and knowing like the way you know
Right.
is different than how I know. And you like learning to trust that for yourself, and not being like, oh, well, the other person, like this person did it this way and they knew this way. And like, that's not how you know.
Right.
And you could follow the same steps, but if you don't put your knowing of yourself into it, like through that lens, through that filter, then it's not going to work.
Right. Now, you said your children are 9 and 11.
Yeah.
When did you start to make that transition in yourself from corporate to that? How old were they?
Well, it's kind of all started after that, when they were like 1 and 3,
Okay.
when like you start to get a little bit more sleep. like like you've been through a huge change, and there's the whole identity of like becoming a mom,
Yes.
and I don't like lean into that a lot, but like it physiologically changes you, it psychologically changes you. Like there's a lot happening
Yeah,
in
definitely.
there.
Definitely.
in that time, I also lost my mom.
Mhm.
So, like, all of those things, like that sense of identity was really shifting.
Mhm.
And things had kind of settled enough where I had some more routine. I had some like stability
Yes.
on things and some capacity again.
Right.
Getting my footing with 2 kids, and then was like, there's something more,
Mhm.
like a yes and like
Mhm.
I'm happy with life,
Mhm.
but I don't want to do this forever
Right.
because I had done like all the things,
Right.
like I had the career, the job, the kids, like everything was going great,
Right.
but it just there's something more, like, and then that just started unraveling those like questions of like that you get into with like personal growth and like,
Mhm.
well, what is my purpose? What is my why? What is like, why am I here? Like, and
Mhm.
as you, I say too, like, you're not raising your kids are finishing raising you.
Mhm.
And so they were bringing up things like just having to parent, being like, oh, like, I can't believe I'm doing that too. Like, these are patterns I'm repeating. These are stories that I follow, things like maybe I did or did not want to do.
Right.
Like noticing how they tell you like this is what a good parent is. This is what
Mhm.
a good, coworker is. This is what a good spouse is. Like all those things. Like I think I just became more aware of all those like invisible stories
Mhm.
and just felt compelled to like start to unravel them.
Mhm. No, I I agree with that because when you start to look around you and you start to become more self-aware of what you're doing, but then also of those people around you, you're able to identify who's benefiting you as well and who's not. And, so when you start to unravel all of that, it's a very interesting start of a journey. So what were your first steps when you started to? What did you do?
The first thing that really like nurtured it moving forward was I did the artist's way.
Mhm.
And it's a Julia Cameron's 12-week um, program, I guess. Uh, you can do it on your own, like using her book, but I had found an accountability group and it had been on my radar in the past. And again, that nudge of like the seed had been planted
Mhm.
years before, but then something came up that made it really easy to say yes to. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And I'd always been like a journaler, like I would write stuff down,
Okay.
but I'd be more of like a diaryist, like getting, like, the details of the day down, but not a lot of feelings
Okay.
behind it, because I think I was a little afraid to actually put that onto the page.
Mhm.
But with the Artist's Way, she promotes doing, she calls them morning pages. So it's just stream of consciousness journaling, and I'd never thought you could journal like that. I'd never experimented with it.
Okay.
And so that push at, like, write her remedy for it is to write 3 pages longhand every day
Mhm.
for the duration of the journey, and I didn't hit it every day, but just getting stuff out on the page, loosening those things up,
Mhm.
and, the another mantra from it is, like, speed kills the censor. So just, like, writing as fast as you can, like, don't worry about getting it right, don't worry if you can't even, like, read it anymore, the idea,
Mhm.
like, get it out.
Right.
Um, and there are honestly a lot of days where I'm like, "I'm sitting here at my counter, I'm reading or I'm writing this out because I have to do my 3 pages, blah, blah, blah," like, just I didn't have anything to say,
Right.
but if I just started writing and putting it out there, then a little thread would come.
Right. So it's somewhat of a release as well. So anything that you're carrying, anything that you feel like you can't tell somebody else, you could actually just write on the paper.
Yeah, and, like, and she also says, like, she does has you, like, not read the stuff.
Right.
Like, there's a point later where you do review it, but not like you're reading everything. It's just more like
Right.
some perspective, like, "You've poured so much out on this page, like, let's what were some things you actually wanna collect from it?" But,
Right.
yeah, just it was really freeing just knowing, like, it's not meant to be precious, it's not meant to be earth-shattering, it's just meant to free your mind, and then it's not even that time on the page, it's that
Mhm.
you have created space, you have created capacity to then later, you can notice the real thought, or like keep keep exploring what did come up.
Mhm.
So that was like the real beginning of like something for me.
Mhm.
Uh, and then I did repeat the experience with a different group like a few years later. And
Mhm.
man, it's just anything that can get like free up your capacity
Mhm.
mentally and emotionally,
Mhm.
it's
And
important.
and so as you started that, then so now you're freeing up the capacity. What were your next steps after that? How did you
Well, then it was like,
I mean, the shift from corporate to not is difficult in itself because I mean, I to this day, so I've been self-employed now for 18 years. I was fired from corporate. I was burned out. I didn't know what else to do, so I had to get fired. I mean,
yeah,
I'm like, I didn't know what to do.
it was like the best, worst thing that
Yes.
happened to you.
So I basically just quit. I stopped working. It was the quiet quitting before it became a thing. That's what it
You're
was,
so
right?
pretty.
Yeah, I know. Totally. So, anyways, and it was fortunate that it happened, when it did because it was I was terminated in like November of 2007. So we entered the recession right about that time,
Yeah.
and so there was no jobs out there, and all my eggs were in the basket of real estate at that moment. Um, so then it went from 9 to 5, then you go into the hustle, completely different type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I will tell you to this day, I still have that corporate part of me. There was something that they called morning merchandising. So you would walk the front of I managed apartment communities. So you'd walk through your office, the front of your office, you'd drive in, you'd look for trash, you'd look for signage, put your balloons out. But it was just, you were making sure everything was perfect, including like light bulbs out and things like that. And to this day, I walk into my office and it's my office, but I still do morning merchandising because that was drilled into me. I
Yeah.
mean, we had a checklist. And so you do that for so long, it's habit now.
Yeah. And it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. Those are good things, but you still can take some bad things from the corporate world as well. So that is a
Especially if that created like negative self-talk or a level of perfectionism,
it,
or like it can be a good habit but not be serving you if you're doing it with an intention that that's not serving you.
exactly. Exactly. So how was your shift?
Well, mine was like when I did like because I had started a business in there, it wasn't successful at that point, but just like all that stuff like led me to feeling like I needed to create something,
Right.
and then feeling like okay, this something is a thing,
Right.
and then I felt that tension of like I'm not putting it all into work anymore because I really want to grow my thing, and so
Right.
then that identity thing, um, there was tension, and then when I did quit, it it came up because I was hitting like my 15-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it just kind of felt like a good closing the loop. Like that's a nice clean number.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of fed up. Like I I was burnt out, but I didn't know it was burnout. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have called it burnout,
Right.
uh, which is just something else like that awareness. Like there's one definition
Mm-hmm.
that people think of for burnout, and if you
Right.
don't fit it, then you don't have it. Type feeling. It's now I'm like, oh, like the more work I do, I'm like, I was so burnt out. There was so like
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have known that, and I didn't feel like I could say anything
Right.
either. So it did come down to like, okay, like it's anniversary date, like giving my notice, I'm out, like, and I thought like, oh, things will be so great now. Like my business can really take off, and I could be so focused with the kids, and like
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Like none of that happened
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
because, like, I think what truly triggered the like, yeah, you you should quit, like, conversation with my husband was then, um, we've been talking about it, but then, because he travels a bunch,
Mm-hmm.
I would travel too, so it's just a lot of strain.
Mm-hmm.
We always had a lot of struggle with childcare,
Mm-hmm.
like being consistent or showing up or, like, all the
It's
things.
hard. Yes.
Um, and so I think the final straw kinda came, like, we were going away for the weekend, and one of our childcare providers said, "I can't anymore." She had something come up in her life, and she couldn't. I understood,
Bad timing.
but super bad timing. And then I'm like, "Okay, like, it's okay, like, uh, we'll make it through, we know the end is near.
Right.
Like, because that would kind of solidified, like, yeah, it's time to, we're good with making this switch. But like, it'll be good because I'll still have some childcare because we split it. Um, just again to diversify our
Right.
risk.
Right.
That's two different people. Uh, and then it's like I can really like enjoy a little time break,
Mm-hmm.
take a breath. No, that person quit too, again, for reasons like that they needed to. I'm not mad at them, but also like this is so not how this was gonna go.
Yes.
Uh, Thinking like I could have some transition time. I could just not be a career person. So I'd already worked for like 20 some years. Like
Mm-hmm.
just have like a little bit of time, like the summer type thing. Like just have some help still, like someone just help us ease.
To ease your way into.
Yeah, because then I could really focus with far less guilt about the business stuff. And yeah, that didn't work out.
No.
So like I'm still feeling that of
Right.
like, and that was 3-4 years ago now that like I'm like, oh my god, like that went by so fast, and I'm still struggling with some of these things. So now I'm like, okay, how long am I going to keep struggling with these same things that I've kind of named? So this year has been a little bit more like, what are the patterns that we're having that are not supporting us?
Right.
What behaviors need to change, attitudes, like on all fronts.
Mm-hmm.
And like the kids are older too, so like their needs are changing. They
Mm-hmm.
can have a little bit more responsibility. They are coming into their own people.
Yes.
And so I'm getting another lesson of what our kids are finishing raising us. And 'cause, like their ages, like I remember a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier to put myself in their shoes and be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I remember 5th grade. We had just moved to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Like how friend dynamics were working. Like, I mean, they're boys versus being a girl, but still, just like those stories are still unraveling, even after like I've made the switch, after everything should be like in a routine by now.
Right.
Uh, they're always changing. And so to not expect things to just stay the same, even though they kind of look like it from the
Mm-hmm.
outside.
Mm-hmm. No, there is definitely a dynamic there. What now you brought up that you moved to Michigan when you were in 5th grade?
Yeah.
So where did you move from?
I was actually born in Michigan, and then with my dad's job, we moved from Michigan, Georgia, Texas, Connecticut, and then to Michigan.
Okay.
All by the time I was,
That was like a 10-year period there, so
yeah,
a very quick move. So it's hard when you move around a lot sometimes to get those close relationships that, you hear. uh, I'll use my mister, for
yeah,
instance. He talks about, childhood friends, that he's formed since he had 4 or 5 years old. They were
yeah,
neighborhood friends, and they're friends to this day, and he just turned 63. And, I have friends, a couple people that I still talk to from that era, but I don't have people that I can say that
that
stuck with
know
me, that know me
exactly.
that exactly. So when you're bumped around, I mean, I went to 3 different elementary schools, so every, like, year and a half, 2 years, I was in a different school, for those first 5 grades, so I know what that feels like, but it's how did that form you, when you came back to Michigan and had solid footing again, or
Well, we didn't know it was solid footing
yeah, initially.
too. Like
True, that's true.
it had just been what I was used
A
to, and I
whirlwind.
didn't. In some ways, I thought I was like cool. Like
Mhm.
I've lived in all these different places. I've had all these different experiences, but also like, and I'm an empath. I'm a very shy
Mhm.
kid,
Mhm.
so like it was hard on me.
Mhm.
But being like the oldest child, the people pleasing girl, like
Mhm.
all like just seeing that too. And so now like I didn't know it then, but I can see how it
Mhm.
was affecting me.
Mhm.
But all for my best good. Like
Right.
it's not like, oh, that was so terrible, like woe is me. But just like, wow, like you were pretty tenacious for that. Like I remember like we moved to Michigan and soccer was big here,
Mhm.
here where we lived, and I was like, "I wanna play soccer." I've never played soccer before in my life, like, but somehow I got my parents to sign me up for after they had just moved, were building a house, starting new jobs.
Mhm.
My mom was actually pregnant then, so I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I if my kids did that to me right now, I cannot even believe it."
Mhm.
So, like, it's just that perspective of, like, if that was happening to me, like, how would I feel? And I'm like,
Right.
"Oh my gosh, like, how did my parents even
Right.
do that?" I don't know.
Right.
So, uh, yeah, like, so I thought it made me just kinda cool. I was used to, like, having to meet new
Mhm.
friends, and I did find friends pretty quickly,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't say I had a hard time adjusting, but I'm sure that I did.
Mhm.
Like, you just aren't always conscious of or you don't remember every little thing
Of course, of
too.
course, now do you have, now, so then did you so I assume that you remained in Michigan since
We
you're still
did.
here?
Yeah, yeah.
So, now when so finishing growing up now, did you you said you're, from Auburn Hills, but did you grow up in Auburn Hills or were it
No,
another
I was in Midland.
Oh, okay, so middle of the state, so, my degree actually is from Northwood,
Oh,
so
so you know. Off
I
camera, we'll have to
but I
talk
did
a whole
yeah,
lot more.
I did the satellite school, so I took the 10-year plan for my degree, so I started biology pre-med and then took a pause, worked, and then went back to school for business, heavy on accounting, and then, did the accelerated they had satellite schools down here, so they had one in Livonia, and so I did the accelerated fast evening program and finished everything that I needed to do for my business degree pretty quickly, and, I did go up there for the graduation and everything, so, um
We have more synchronicity
yes,
than we thought.
yes, 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 so it's, that is, um that's good education, I gotta tell you. I I liked the instructors because they were real people, because they had worked outside of just being teachers, so they were able to give that full-time experience and say, "This is what I learned, this is
Like,
that."
we have to teach you this,
Yeah,
but this is how it translates, why
exactly.
you'll need to learn it, or you might never need this, but we gotta teach you.
Exactly, exactly, but it gave a good foundation. So no, but growing up in the middle of the state's nice because it's rural, but not a huge city, but, just enough to get into trouble sometimes,
Yeah,
we had, like,
we
the
had
bowling alley in the movie theater.
yeah, we had a lot of, like, innocent trouble.
Mhm.
I stuck with that good girl.
Yeah. No, and that's me, I always joke that, I stay busy because it keeps me out of trouble, but I don't know what kind of trouble I'd actually
Yeah,
get
we had,
into.
like, good trouble, like,
Yeah.
the shenanigans we did were
Yeah.
so
My
so
guilty
low
my
key,
m
but we
I
thought we
gotta
were
tell
so
you,
cool.
this is a constant joke, and so my worst shenanigan ever, was, flashing the guys at McDonald's on the way out past the drive-through. We'd get our food, and I'd flash one of 'em or something, but they've torn that McDonald's down no since, so I can say, "Okay, the memory died with it."
There you go, like,
But that was probably the extent of what we would do, but we'd end up at the bowling alley, and just go bowling or play in the, little arcade that they had or something like that, because I grew up in Lake Orion, but at that point, it was very, very rural. It wasn't what it is today. So, you could be 12 years old and ride your bike to Rochester, and you couldn't fathom about doing that now.
yeah.
And so, one of those things. But what did you like about growing up in Michigan? Or
Oh,
your teenage years, I should say, in Michigan?
yeah, like, now that I'm older and out of it, like, we joke, like, there's some things, like, I didn't even, like, see a lot of the state for as much as the country I had seen
Mhm.
as a kid. I really didn't see a lot of our state.
Right.
Like, because I mean, my parents had 3 kids at that time, like, they were still selling, and it I know what it takes to get us out the door in my current life, so, no, that's why they didn't take us from
Right.
all these different places. So, I hadn't seen a lot of the state until, like, I went to college at Western,
Mhm.
so, like, saw stuff over there. My first job was here in Detroit area.
Mhm.
That was a huge shift for me, but, like, again, I did it
Right.
'cause, like, it was kinda like, well, that's what you're expected to do. That's what the good girl does. So, like, it's not a bad thing that it happened. In some ways, it propelled me forward because it was a story that I had to fulfill.
Right.
Uh, and if I was too much in my head or I didn't have that obligation, I might not have. I might have just stayed close to home. I
Right.
might have like not gone away to school. Like, and again, for there's no good or bad of these things, but like for me, it was good
Mhm.
that I went away and did these things. I didn't let myself stay small when like it wasn't what I was
Mhm.
meant to do.
Right. And how do you think that you were able to not stay small? That's a big one because that's something that I think people in our position, let's say, tend to do. If they stay small, then they're not seen, then they don't create chaos, then nobody has a problem. You're like
Yeah, diversion
constantly
of safety.
keeping peace and that. So when you decide to not stay small, what happens?
I mean, all the fears come up.
Mhm.
Like you're gonna you're gonna feel stuff. I think for me, the more that I think it's just inevitable,
Mhm.
it's easier
Okay.
to do. Like I may hesitate taking the step, but when I can trust knowing it's the right step
Mhm.
or it's good for me,
Mhm.
like you can do hard things. It's not going to be easy to get where you need to go.
Right.
Like, even being here today with you, like,
Yeah.
I know that some people be like, "Oh my god, like I'm meeting a stranger, I'm driving to a place, we're talking in person, it's on camera, like always like,"
Yes.
and it's like, "Hi, like I'll be back."
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet, like, there's nerves with it, but I also know, like, it's meant for me. It's
Mhm.
inevitable that it's gonna be a good thing, like, getting
That
those nudges along the way. So, it can be hard to choose visibility,
Mhm.
and especially when I'm trying to, like, make a plan for it.
Yes.
Because I think, because then that's, like, more consciously choosing. But if I
Mhm.
just have that sense that, like, it's all inevitable, and as long as I just keep listening and taking the steps to get me there. Like, it may be slower than for most people
Right.
or other people, but I know it's sustainable and I know that I can handle it in my own way and it'll all work out.
Right.
So, like,
I like that. And that's something that's very much a vibe that I choose to live by. I associate a lot of it with, like, just floating. You're still making conscious decisions about but you're kind of just those big moments, those like, if something hits you, you just have to say, "Okay, it's somewhere in the plan, so I accept that it's going to happen, but just let
yeah,
me just guide me into it nicely. Don't just throw me into the chaos because that is no fun."
yeah, like I can do a crisis
Mhm.
response,
Oh, yes. You choose not
but
to.
yeah, I would like to not make that my mode of operation. Like, I know I'm very capable if it happens. I have been challenged in that way in my life several
Right.
times. Don't want to repeat it.
Mhm.
if if at all possible. But I feel like this way, like I said, being an empath or a highly sensitive person, like I'm just like more sensitive to all those things around me. So
Right.
if I can, yeah, like kind of just float my way through, like keep maintain my capacity
Mhm.
so that I can respond versus react.
Yes.
Um, like there's nothing wrong with just needing more of a bubble, more of a capacity to do the things
Yep.
because I can trust that I'll get there and I'll be
Mhm.
really happy with how I got there,
Right.
where I got to, because there's a lot of calculating
There is.
and awareness as you're going through it versus
Mhm.
like, I got here, where where's here?
Right.
And it's not what you wanted and you like rushed past things that you missed along the way or you weren't present in the moment for.
Yes.
Like those people are like the big things are or the little things are the big things, like
Mhm.
just noticing and pausing and, like, appreciating, like, "Oh, I'm here."
I came across a book that my mom had purchased for me for Christmas when I was early teens, probably somewhere 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, and it was "Don't Sweat the Small Things,"
Oh, yeah.
and so it was just a simple simple things just like that. She's because I would zero in on and then it would just become this big snowball and then it would go out of control. And she's like, no, no, no. If it's a big thing, that's where you need to be worried, but the little things, they can be addressed and deflected and you can do these things.
And if you
Uh,
have capacity,
mhm.
then they don't
Seems
like
so
like
overwhelming.
yeah, they're not so much of a friction to you.
Mhm.
Like you can be like, "Oh, okay, like I see that.
Right.
I'm rested enough. I'm secure enough in like all my senses of safety.
Mhm.
Like I trust how my intuition works. I'm fulfilled in all these like creative ways too. Like if all those facets of yourself are nourished well,
Right.
I call it juicy. You know, if you feel
Yeah.
really juicy, then you just kind of bounce off. Like
Mhm.
it's not going to bother you. But if you're really like not juicy, then it's like having really dry skin. Like all those frictions are gonna
Be absorbed.
yeah, they're gonna be absorbed. They're gonna like scratch at you. Then that has to
Mm.
heal versus like if you can get yourself to a point where you have that juiciness,
Mhm.
then you do just kind of like bounce off and you have
Mhm.
extra capacity to spare. So in case
Mhm.
something happens, like it's not gonna keep taking you down.
Mhm. Now you said that the business side of you, has been 3 to 4 years
Yeah, it's like
outside of corporate,
yeah, I'm
but
like I don't even know when
work.
I left.
Yeah, well, I know, but so the what now let's talk about that. What do you do for your business?
My business is called Firefly Scout.
Mhm.
And so that came to be that like we have this sense of glow
Yes.
within us. Like that's why I call that's the juicy glow.
Yes. I
And
like
there's
that.
these parts of you, like all your different versions of capacity. And that it's different ways to know you and what fulfills them. What keeps you replenished in a way.
Mhm.
And it's going to be specific to you
Mhm.
and how your energy operates and how you interact with your stories
Mhm.
that you carry. And just teaching people that.
Mhm.
Uh, basically, like, it's a way a framework for self-awareness.
Mhm.
Because people say, like, it's really important to have self-awareness but, like and people teach a lot of stuff, like, through different modalities, like, like, do yoga or breath work, and, like, those are great, but if you can't put it, like, into a map
Mhm.
to kinda understand or pinpoint, like, what is coming up and how that fits into all the other things,
Mhm.
then it just feels like, "Okay, well, I know this thing, but I don't know how it relates," and then, uh, like and maybe sometimes, like, doing those stillness practices don't actually make you feel comfortable.
Well, and they say that sometimes deep meditation can have an adverse effect on some people, so it might not be the right
Yeah,
thing.
so
So that
then you might just not do any of them
right.
because, like, "Oh, I had a bad reaction." It's like, "Well, why?" Like,
Mhm.
maybe it was the practitioner, maybe it was the space you were in, the
Mhm.
physical space you were in,
Mhm.
prompts there like, if you can't start to suss out, like, "Well, what about that kinda triggered you?"
Right.
Or just, like, felt like friction. I don't like to being triggered or trauma, like, all those words are thrown around a lot, but if you can notice your
I like that you said that. There are a lot of key trigger words you wanna say, and it's just, everybody has become their own self, diagnosed psychologist, and it's like we need to step away from Doctor Google
yeah,
and start to just look inward and feel for ourselves because we don't need a book to tell us any of that. We can say, "This is how I feel. I feel lonely," or "I feel sad," or, is we can identify that without that.
yeah, and that's what my work came to be, like, giving you the framework, like, I'm not trying to prescribe you how to do anything
Right.
or tell you what to, but, like, at least it's a framework just to structure your self-awareness so that you kinda, for yourself, then decide, like, what do you actually need because you're actually in tune with your inner self and
Mhm.
your energy
Mhm.
and, like, that sense of purpose, your values, all your stories, like,
Mhm.
you are all of you, and all of that is being taken into account as you're trying to navigate life.
Yes.
And, I mean, life is really complex,
It is.
and so, like, it just helps me to be like, "Okay, like, which facet of glow is this affecting? That what nervous system state does that kind of relate to?
Mhm.
And I call it like your glow compass, because then so you can kind of say like, oh, am I like in a freeze state? Like that's like your return state. Like that's where you need, like where stillness would really help you.
Mhm.
But instead of like the freeze state of stillness, it's an aligned state of it. So like stillness is safe for me.
Mhm.
It's constructive actually for me
Mhm.
to be still and maybe journal my thoughts now
Mhm.
or meditate or like because that's what I feel that I actually need now. Where for someone else, it could be like, oh, I actually just need to pause and like look around, and, like notice and appreciate
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
And that is what's going to like regulate you back. And
Mhm.
so, again, like there's so many modalities out there, there's so many tools. And this just kind of helps you like kind of put it in a map.
Right, but what you're saying too is you're saying you don't have to take that hour to go to yoga or meditate or
Yeah.
whatever. You can do something, take the moment just to stop and look around and appreciate that you're breathing in fresh air and you're alive and you hear the birds chirp,
That
things.
might be the grounding
Mhm.
you need. And it's
And you
all
can do
meant
that
to do
anywhere.
right in the middle of your busy life. So, like,
Mhm.
as you understand that for yourself better, then you can like do more of the right thing. Like, you can take that oriented action
Mhm.
and get back to, or, navigating life again much more quickly versus like, instead of feeling like, well, I wasted that yoga class, that's $27 and I won't get
Right.
back. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then that girl looked at me funny. And like, it could all these things versus like,
Yeah.
no, you really, I don't say just needed, but at and at a minimum, you could have just you needed to stretch your body at home. You needed to feel grounded in yourself. You didn't have
Mhm.
to go to a class. You didn't have to turn it into something big. It's
Right.
just turns it into like how can you do these like micro resets
Mhm.
right in the moment. That's
Mhm.
what you need. Not that
Mhm.
yoga's bad, not that breathwork's not bad, but like
No.
but to use that more as like if it's a practice that works for you, great. Like I take a daily walk. I have a 6-year streak of showing up for myself every dang day to take a walk outside.
Mhm.
And people are like, how do you do that? And like, it became a promise I needed to keep
Mhm.
for myself because I needed to know that I was showing up for myself. And
Mhm.
that was like back when I was contemplating all these things, is like I kind of needed some evidence that I was showing up
Mhm.
consistently.
Mhm.
And so it turned into a daily walk.
Yeah.
And the idea that I set a minimum daily promise to myself that it only has to be 15 minutes. Just go outside for 15 minutes.
Mhm.
You always feel better afterwards.
Mhm.
You need the break.
Mhm.
If you're overstimulated, like you probably just need to get away. Um, it's also a place that can make me feel creative and free and like I can be myself and
Mhm.
shed all these other things. So like it's one practice that can be 100 different things that I need.
Mhm.
And I set a threshold that makes it serves me to do it and is not hard
Mhm.
to do it. And that has also come with its own journey of having a better relationship with that because with my Fitbit now Apple Watch, like there were many nights when I was jogging in the bathroom to close the rings because I needed to show up for myself. Like I was setting the bar too high.
Yeah.
And so that's where I
Yep.
had learned.
Right, and then you hold it against yourself. Well, "Oh, you're a failure. You didn't do it right. You didn't do this.
Yeah.
You can't even do that for you." And you don't need to do that. I mean, there's believe me, there's lots of conversations I have in the mirror in the morning, and, I'm thankful that sometimes a lot of those conversations never leave that bathroom because I get to close it off, or if they're even maybe a conversation directed at somebody else, I'll just have that conversation with myself, and then it's off my chest, and I don't have to say it because I probably wouldn't be the nicest person if I said it to their face. So if so it's just curbing that. So that's what I like do for myself is I talk to myself. I communicate and say, "How do you feel?" and do that. But it's the conversations in the mirror that I do. I do the I try to get out of the dog walking, well, especially in the wintertime, but that's because 'cause I'm in the ta the tax office, but
Yeah.
One of the things that I shifted to in the fall was mindless dog walking. I used to put earbuds in and listen to an Audible or do this or
Yeah.
do that, or there was always something that was trying to run through my head, or, whether maybe even have a phone conversation or something like that. And working with a healer myself, one of the things she said, "Have you tried mindless dog walking?" And I said, "What's that?" She said, "When you walk Monty, don't think about anything." And I said, "Okay." And
And that
so
if
I've been
that's what you
doing
need
that for
for the
6
day.
months, and you know what? I love it. I don't plan for anything, I don't ask, we look for squirrels to chase, and I talk to him, and it's like, "Oh, did you see that? Oh, catch that." It's like little things, and it's just, and then you see the squirrels and you hear the faint little noises, and when you, get that moment to be present, even as simple as just walking your dog, it's an amazing feeling that you get.
Yeah, like, we have a dog now too, so, like, that's helped. He
Mhm.
likes to go out. Uh, but, like, I walk at a nature center a lot, so, like, just, like, noticing, like, "Oh, like, those are that's new growth.
Yeah.
That thing oh, that tree fell down," like,
Right.
"Oh, the snakes are out," like,
Yep.
just noticing, like, nature's still happening.
Yes.
It follows its seasons.
Mhm.
It is resilient enough to keep showing up every day, like,
Mhm.
those are like, that's one purpose of the walk. 'Cause some days I do need to call people because, like, my connection glow is feeling dim, and
Mhm.
I I just need to call like,
Yes.
so that's what I'll use the time for, but other times, like, no podcast, no, like,
Yes. No, nothing.
yeah, I'll have to use um, the idea of it's just mindless dog walk, like,
Mhm.
even more intentionally, like,
Yes.
it's like whatever the dog wants to do.
Exactly.
Really
And there's times that I let him pick and, which route to take, but if I'm tight on time, I'm like, "No, we're not going the long way."
yeah.
So, he likes to take that way the most, or if it's rained too much, it's usually the sloppy, wet way, and I'm like, "No, we're not gonna walk through water today."
Well, that's why, like, this practice is something I can use in 100 different ways for
Mhm.
whatever I need,
Mhm.
but it's easy to keep track to do. Like, it's not
Yeah.
complicated, like, just go for a walk.
Right.
And sometimes, like, it is on a treadmill or sometimes, like,
But you're still physically active for your 15 minutes that you set for
yes.
yourself, and
But
that's
it's not, like, at an aerobic level
no.
unless I'm feeling like I would like to show up for myself in
Yes.
that way. And then, like, okay, we're power walking today.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's just that space to use however I want.
Right.
And so, a lot of times it is 30 minutes to or longer.
And so when you found yourself becoming more self-aware, you found yourself checking in for yourself and setting bars and meeting up and showing up for yourself is
Yeah.
is really the key. Um, that helped you to know that you were on the right path to start your business. And now how do listeners find Firefly Scout?
I'm at fireflyscout.com.
Mhm.
And one thing I'm incredibly consistent about is sending my weekly newsletter.
Mhm.
Uh, and I'm still working on my relationship with socials.
Me too. I'm struggling hard on that one. Alexis grew up with it. I did not. So, she's, I've done a few like shorts and videos and things. She's done far many more of them for me. But it's tough.
Yeah.
I can't stay up on it. I can't even stay up on LinkedIn. I think I have 2 pending messages like from a week ago. It's horrible.
Yeah. And like,
So,
so like, I love socials. Like, I get
yeah.
inspired in so many ways,
Mhm.
but I also get like activated in ways too. So I'm like,
Yes.
it just,
I
it's
like
a
the
great,
person, like,
yeah.
face to face. This is
Yeah.
the conversation I need to have because it's too easy to say something that off the cuff to somebody on a social media site or as a comment. It's like, really? Would you say that to my face? Honestly.
Yeah. Or even like, you just don't get, even if it's a nice thing, you don't even get the tone to say, like, no, they really love that. Like, they said that with like
Mhm.
love and appreciation, not just
Mhm.
like, hey, good post. Like,
Mhm.
no, there's so much more behind it if you can't hear. So that's why
Yeah.
my newsletter is the number one place to like
Mhm.
get me.
Mhm.
So, but then I show up on the socials to
Randomly, just like us. And then
working on it.
yes, now on your website, now they can solicit your services for
Um,
guidance
I
or
have a framework that will introduce people to this their concept of glow
Mhm.
and help them start to map that for themselves. It
Okay.
uses neurographic art
Mhm.
to help them get those thoughts onto the page,
Yeah.
feelings onto the page. Uh, and then from there, I have a course that can teach you more about the glow foundations.
Mhm.
And if people really want to go more and understand themselves deeper, I have like clarity sessions so we can just talk through and
Fabulous.
get untangle all those threads and stories.
There's I think a lot to untangle for a lot of people. I don't think we're ever born being perfectly clear and clean,
And that's not the point.
and it's not because, we have to go through all of the bumps and the, the peaks and the valleys of life to understand what life is. And I like how you've said that your extended education is when you had children that they're teaching you now, because one of the things that we always not always, but we've talked about in the past is with some of our guests is, y you know, especially with children, when somebody becomes a parent for the first time, "I've never done this before." I'm
Yeah.
learning just the same to how to be a mother or a father as you are to be a child, a son or a daughter,
Every day. Like you've
so it's
never had a
different.
child of that age
Right.
before. So I have to keep reminding
The
my oldest, like,
For the first time in my life, I have an 11-year-old.
yeah,
So, it's that simple reminder sometimes.
yeah. And he's old enough he's coming into his
Yeah.
feelings and all that. But I can now say, like, I remember being your age. I'm not trying to say I know.
Right.
I do remember.
Right.
And so let me draw upon that to try to help you.
And keep my sanity just the same.
Yeah. I'm not perfect in that way at all.
Oh.
We definitely have ways that we tap each other's capacity.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I could say probably at that age, I was the rational, always questioning, it had to somehow rationalize in my brain. So there was always the follow-up questions, and
Yeah.
my mom was the "It is because it is," and she'd just give you that
Shut up.
look. Yeah, and she'd give you that look, and I'm like, "Okay, I've ticked you off enough. Moving on."
And feeling again like I don't want to create a story for him that he shouldn't ask questions or be curious.
Right.
Also teaching him like, can you pause and notice
Be
when
aware
someone
of.
has capacity to answer, or like
Mhm,
don't get mad that they didn't answer you. Like you
mhm,
could see they're actively doing something else.
mhm.
So you do not have their attention now. So like these are just good people skills.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that one's a different yeah, that one's
trying to
different.
teach him that like you don't have
I
to have
think
attention. Like wait.
there's a lot of adults that have never learned that. So that's an ongoing.
Because they don't want to
That's
like
a trait.
to get frustrated. Like no one listens to me. Like you're not choosing your moments
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
Sometimes did you notice that like no one's going to listen to you right now because for good or bad you don't have my attention.
Mhm.
And if you snag my attention, you probably won't get a good response because I was like
Focused.
no one
Yeah.
wants to be like yoinked and
Well, it is,
energetically mentally like
and I don't think that it is acknowledged that when you're deep in thought working on something, an interruption not only costs you the time of the interruption and whatever else you had to deal with, but then it takes you a full, 20 to 30 minutes to get your brain back into what you were focused on. So whatever the interruption, whether it's a child, a phone call, a parent, a spouse or whatever,
or that
it
great idea or like
and then you know what you're about to say
it's
and then
never as good
right.
after that.
Yes. And so, no,
Like that's the
and
worst
then
too.
it gets frustrating and then, but then because you're self-aware, you work through your own feelings and you take your deep breath and you're like, "Okay, he's 11. All right, we'll teach him."
Or like this is a sign that like my glow is strained.
Mhm.
My sense of agency is being really tapped
Yeah.
right now. So, what can I do to like reclaim some of that
Mhm.
sense of it? So
Mhm.
that's what I'll use my walk for.
Right.
Like,
Right. I need to go take my walk now.
yeah, or just
Mhm.
oh, this week is also gonna be like really busy. So how can I make sure that I'm claiming my agency in different pockets? Like again, it's just like a framework to kind of notice and name, so you can plan for it
Right.
and like so you can go with the flow while also not running blind
Right.
through it.
Excellent. Now, Stephanie, what are some plans for the future? What are your next steps?
Gosh, I have so many juicy things on the
Mm.
horizon. I'm finishing the revamp of my foundations course. So
Mhm.
it's been the like, get this done. Like
Mhm.
I have I'm someone who always has like 1,000 ideas. So like this has been a good lesson in focus and get this done.
Uh-huh.
Because once this is done, then so much more capacity will open up.
Mhm.
So, uh, so in the next few days, that will be done. And then I have some other ideas. One is like some more merchandise
Mhm.
stuff. I'm gonna play with that rabbit hole a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, and then I really love human design, and so the next thing I start focusing on is getting my certification
Mhm.
through that. Like I have a course that's been totally back burner, but it's times I'm like, okay,
Mm.
because now I know when I go through it, I know exactly why I'm learning it because I have
Right.
gotten that level deeper with this other stuff. So, like, again, I could tell myself the story like, "It's taking you years to figure this out. You should have been a success by now." Blah blah blah. Like, no, like everything is unfolding exactly as it is meant to.
And it'll get faster and faster. So it took 10 years to get here, but you had to recognize that within yourself first. And then once you recognize it, then those pieces come together very quickly. And then once those pieces come together, it just starts to pour out and
Yeah,
overflow. And then you're like, why did I ever question myself?
I know. Like
It's
I
amazing.
tell my son that bamboo takes like 5 years to root
Mhm.
before it breaks the surface,
Mhm.
and then it can grow as fast. I said like a foot a day. He's like, no way. Well, we Googled it. There's some types that can grow as much as 3 feet a day.
Yeah. And you can never get rid of it once it's
Yeah, like
planted.
not like forever, but like
Right.
the idea like putting in all of the roots
Yes.
is going to be what makes this sustainable
Mhm.
and fun and fulfilling, which is
Mhm.
exactly how I want it to be.
Yes.
So I'm just so excited for what's next, and it's inevitable. It's gonna happen.
Oh, no, no. I'm so excited for you just the same. So, and then on a final note, Stephanie, one of the things that we always like to back people into the corner on is what would your personal anthem be for you in your moment or your lifetime, however it would be?
One song that caught my attention, it was a couple years ago now. It's Night Changes
Mhm.
by One Direction.
Mhm.
And like I'm of the era, like they were more popular when I was older, but
Mhm.
uh so I heard it, like the music was playing. I was like, oh, I really like this song.
Okay.
Like because it talks about like it's focusing on like a young girl, like, like making changes or decisions in her life.
Right.
Um, but the lyric of like how even, like the night changes you.
Mhm.
Like even when the night changes, like I'm still here for you.
Mhm.
So like that just really struck a chord with like this is Firefly Scout. These are fireflies in the night,
Mhm.
and how that can change the idea of like a stark, scary field
Mhm.
where there's all this stuff around you.
Mhm.
But if there's fireflies, it can be magical. You
Mhm.
can feel guided. So like,
Mhm. They light the path.
yeah. So that
Mhm.
song just gets me of like, even though it's dark, even though it's scary, you want it so much. And even though it goes against what other people tell you should do,
Mhm.
you're still making your choice. And so that's one that just
I like.
gets me.
Oh, I like that. No, you've just wrapped this whole conversation into a perfect little package with that explanation, honestly, because it brings everything full circle. So it helps me to understand you and where you've come from, and oh, I look so forward to seeing where Firefly Scout goes. This is going to be amazing for you. And thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Life Between Coasts. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe so we can grow our community of listeners. We'd like to thank Stephanie again for joining us on this week's episode, and we hope you have a great week. And until then, bye bye.